This is the MPC One from Akai Professional, and this could be the best device of 2020. The market has never been more saturated with standalone devices offering a DAWless workflow. However, the release of the MPC One is going to disrupt the market. It offers users advanced features and a proven workflow at an affordable price. In this video, we'll explore the MPC One, how it compares to similar devices on the market, and why it's such a great value. The MPC One was released in February of 2020 with a retail price of $699 US. At this price, it competes very aggressively with several popular devices on the market. If we quickly compare features and prices, we can see that the MPC One offers many features while being priced relatively low. Within the current MPC series, which consists of the X, Live, and Touch, the MPC One offers many features of the X and Live despite being marketed as an entry-level device. For $100 more than the MPC Touch, you get a fully standalone unit that can also act as a controller with a computer. The MPC One's biggest competition is the MPC Live. We could easily do a whole video on the comparison between these two devices, but we're just going to go over the key differences in this video. A major difference between the One and Live is that the Live has an integrated battery, making it a truly portable and standalone device. For users who want to be fully portable and want to work on music in a park or on a plane, an extra $300 gets you that level of freedom and portability. The downside is that batteries are by no means perfect. Like smartphones, laptops, and other devices, often a failing battery is the reason for a shortened product lifespan. To put this into perspective, you can still get a fully functional MPC 2000, 3000, or even an MPC 60, which is impressive for devices that are 20 to 30 years old. Only time will tell the longevity of the MPC Live's internal battery. Other differences between the One and Live are the number of inputs, outputs, and buttons. The Live has more inputs and outputs for both audio and MIDI, as well as a phono-level input. If you need more I/Os, then get the Live. But it's likely that many users will be just fine with the available inputs and outputs on the MPC One. Further, the MPC One has CV and gate outputs, similar to the MPC X, which can be used to control outboard synths and modular gear. One highlight of the MPC One are the dedicated function buttons, which greatly increase productivity. These are more in line with classic MPCs than the rubber minimalist buttons found on the Live and Touch. The last note of comparison between the One and Live is on portability. The Live is highly portable and battery powered, but the One is also highly portable, assuming you have an electrical outlet close by. It's surprisingly lightweight and small enough to fit in a bag, and you can easily use it on your lap while you're chilling and watching TV. To quickly compare the MPC One to the flagship MPC X, the X is bigger and has more of everything. It has more inputs, outputs, more buttons, and many Q-links with accompanying displays. It also has a lot more presence, both in terms of size and appearance. Since the specs are similar and the OS is the same, users will have a very similar workflow on the MPC One as they do on the MPC X. The X will always have a place in the market, but the MPC One is a capable device and it offers comparable features. When it comes to workflow, the MPC is arguably one of the most influential MIDI sequencers in history. Roger Lin is credited for designing the MPC in collaboration with Akai with the release of the MPC 60 in 1988. The MPC's workflow and approach to sampling quickly became a favorite among hip-hop producers. Since the cornerstone of hip-hop production has been sampling, the sampler with the best workflow is king. And it's safe to say that no other device has been more beloved and influential on hip-hop production and workflow than the MPC series. And that's what makes the MPC One so exciting, that it pulls from the design and success of previous MPCs with the same workflow, pads, and dedicated buttons that have withstood the test of time. But the MPC One is not just for making hip-hop beats. Although it could be used for any genre, where it shines is in genres with an emphasis on rhythm and percussion. For example, the MPC has been commonly used in house music production, drum and bass, future bass, dancehall, and others. Since it's a powerful sampler and sequencer, you can use it for just about anything. What makes the MPC One's workflow unique is that Akai has taken little away from the successful formula that started with the MPC 60, and instead they have only added to it. Notably, in addition to being a fully standalone sampler and sequencer, The MPC has added software and integration from the MPC Studio in Touch. Although it's a powerful device in standalone mode, when connected to a computer, the MPC One unlocks further features and workflows that give users additional ways to engage with the device. Like the MPC Touch Live in X, the MPC One ships with companion MPC software providing a similar experience to Native Instruments' popular machine workflow. The MPC software runs as a standalone app on your computer and provides further access and refinement to your project while still offering tactile feel of the MPC One as a controller. Further, you can use the MPC software as a VST in your favorite DAW. In a recent firmware update, Akai added direct integration in the popular DAW Ableton Live. The implication of this is that the MPC can be a controller for Ableton without running the MPC software. This frees up resources and improves workflow by integrating directly with Ableton, similar to how the push controllers integrate with Ableton. However, as of the MPC One's release, only the Live and X support Ableton Live Control. The good news is that the MPC One is fully capable of getting this feature, and we hope that it comes in a future firmware update release. Currently, the MPC One can use Ableton's link connectivity with software that supports this feature. When it comes to our favorite features of the MPC, chopping samples and banging out beats is at the top of the list. The sampling process is intuitive and flexible. There are various ways to slice and chop samples, giving users powerful tools to manipulate samples quickly. And of course, the pads. We'll talk about them later, but for now it's safe to say that they are one of the key characteristics and joys of an MPC. The overall architecture and workflow of the device is relatively intuitive, and the process of making music on the MPC One is highly fun and rewarding. The MPC One is built upon classic MPC architecture and workflow. In a nutshell, a song's project file contains sequences of tracks, which are either audio or MIDI. There can be 128 sequences per project. In standalone mode, the MPC One can have 8 audio tracks and 128 MIDI tracks. MIDI tracks contain programs, which can come in a variety of types. There can be 128 programs per project, and each project can contain 128 pads of samples. This structure allows for plenty of depth and complexity within your arrangement, yet it's relatively intuitive and quick to work with. The classic structure of the MPC is the foundation for its legendary sequencer. An entire show's performance could be programmed into one project file, and some users primarily use an MPC just to sequence external gear. With the MPC One CV and MIDI connections, it gives users the option to control and sequence various external gear. Internally, the MPC One features 3 built-in synth engines which are called plugins. These allow users to create bass lines, leads, and pads without relying on samples. This is a relatively new feature of the MPC series, which is welcome, and we hope to see more synth engines added in the future. In terms of sound design, the MPC One has some advanced features to help users tailor both the song's mix as well as sculpting individual samples. From filters, modulation, effects, and automation, the MPC One offers a variety of tools that many users can appreciate. Once your song is sequenced and you've refined the sound design, the MPC One offers several options for where to go from here. You can bounce a stereo mix down of your project. You can also bounce stems of individual tracks. You can even explode the project into individual sounds and MIDI files. You can also export the song directly as an Ableton Live file. There are many advanced exporting features on the MPC One. And as we mentioned earlier, the MPC One is a controller to be used in conjunction with a computer. In addition to having more control and access to your project via a computer, one of the benefits of this is the increase to the number of audio tracks that can be available in your project. In standalone mode, the MPC One can have 8 audio tracks, but in the MPC software on a computer, it can have 128 audio tracks. The MPC software can then be placed as a VST instance in a DAW for ultimate creativity. Even if you intend to use the MPC One as a standalone device, in which it is plenty powerful, the device has plenty of additional features and workflows for users who wish to explore its potential. Now, the MPC One was marketed as an entry-level MPC. Sure, it doesn't have the inputs and outputs of the Live and X, but it does have similar specs and workflow. Calling it entry-level is doing a disservice to the device. When considering everything that has been mentioned so far, it's safe to say that there is nothing entry-level about the device other than its price. When comparing the MPC One to many other devices on the market, it's not the MPC One that looks entry-level by comparison, and it's priced to flood the market. In terms of build quality, the MPC One is well constructed. It has a metal case and vented hard plastic side panels. It's surprisingly lightweight, but feels sturdy. It is just under 11 inches square, just smaller than a vinyl jacket. It's about 2 inches high, or about 3 inches high if you count the knobs. It features 31 dedicated function buttons, most of which are dual function and backlit. The buttons have a low profile and a nice tactile click to them. They're similar to traditional MPCs rather than the rubber buttons of the MPC Touch and Live. Now, you can't talk about an MPC without talking about its quintessential 4x4 array of pads. These are velocity, pressure, and aftertouch sensitive, and the settings of which can be adjusted. In terms of size, they are the smallest pads in the current MPC lineup. Each pad is just under an inch square. But that said, they're still playable and highly expressive. They're bigger than the Push-2's pads, which some users will appreciate, but they're not as big as Machines. Personally, their size isn't preventing me from having fun with the device. If you're worried about it, I would recommend checking them out firsthand at a local store. One of the key features of the new MPC series is this beautiful and bright LED touchscreen display. It's the same size display you get with the Live and X, but it's fixed, unlike the X's tilting screen. They all share the same OS and screen. You get the same experience as the other devices. And interfacing with the MPC One via the touchscreen is convenient with plenty of visual feedback. In terms of inputs and outputs, the MPC has a stereo pair of balanced line-level outputs. I know that traditional MPCs, as well as the Live and X, have several outputs to help separate tracks, but I don't think having one output is a deal breaker for the MPC One for two reasons. First, many users don't use multiple outputs. Second, and more importantly, you can just export high-quality stems directly to your SD card. In terms of inputs, there is one stereo quarter-inch balanced line-level input. The MPC One does not have a phono-level input like the Live and X, but this isn't a deal breaker either. Some turntables like the PTO One have line-level outputs built in, which is super convenient. If you're using a Technics 1200 or similar turntable, you can just go through a mixer or a preamp. Going through a mixer actually gives you more control over your signal. Lastly, there is an 1/8-inch stereo headphone output on the front. The MPC One has full-size MIDI input and output jacks, one of each. And similar to the MPC X, the MPC One has a set of CV gate jacks for controlling outboard synths and modular gear. It's worth noting that the 4 CV gate jacks are actually stereo, so using TRS to TS breakout splitters will give you 8 total CV gate connections. The MPC One has 2 USB connectors. The USB-A connector is used to connect a USB storage device, like a thumb drive that contains samples and project files. The USB-B connector is used to connect the MPC One to a computer. Although the MPC One does not have the convenience of Bluetooth or MIDI connectivity, there is an Ethernet jack for network connectivity. It's worth getting a USB to Ethernet adapter to take advantage of Ableton's link connectivity with other apps. Now, there are 2 knobs on the back which are important. The main volume output of the device is controlled by a dedicated knob here, which includes the headphone output. And there's a dedicated knob for the record input signal level. Finally, we have an SD card slot on the front next to the headphone jack. Overall, the layout and ergonomics of the MPC One are well thought out. Most of the buttons and knobs are on the right-hand side of the unit, which is beneficial to people who are right-handed. The square format of the device is pleasing. The overall size is compact enough to fit comfortably on your desk with a turntable or a laptop. And the MPC One can easily travel in a backpack, but you'll want to find a way to protect the knobs during transportation. When it comes to the fine details of the hardware specification on the MPC One, the device is surprisingly similar to the MPC Live and X. All 3 of the devices have the same quad-core ARM processor and 2 GB of RAM. Like the others, the MPC One uses 24-bit D-to-A and A-to-D converters up to 96 kHz. Internally, it handles signals in 32-bit floating point, which is impressive. Unlike the MPC X and Live, which feature 16 GB of storage, 10 GB of which is sound content, The MPC One features 4 GB of storage, 2 GB of which is sound content. Also, unlike the X and Live, which feature a SATA connection to install an internal hard drive, the MPC One does not have a SATA connection. This too may not be a deal breaker. A high-capacity SD card is an adequate and cheap solution to increasing storage capacity. A $20 SD card will provide enough storage to last the average user many years. You can also use a USB drive, but the SD card slot allows for a slightly more secure solution than a USB drive sticking off the back. In terms of criticisms, no device is perfect, and that includes the MPC One. First, the volume knob is not conveniently located, so you'll need to remember where to look for it when adjusting volume on your headphones and monitors. Additionally, the record input level knob is also on the back panel. Depending on the sources you record from, you might be adjusting this often, so keep that in mind, but you get used to it quickly. Next, it feels like the device is missing D-pad buttons, which are commonly found on MPCs. Although I wish the MPC had them, it's not too hard to navigate via the touchscreen. Maybe they'll add them in the next version. Also, maybe it's just me, but it seems odd not to have a dedicated button for the metronome. Since many devices have a button for this, or at least a quick shortcut, I found myself looking for it on the MPC One, but it's not a big deal. I turn on the metronome and set it to record only. This way I can just tap overdub to engage the metronome. Lastly, although I can appreciate the plug-in synths that come with the device, I was questioning how many of the presets were ones that I would actually want to use. I know you can program and save your own presets, but it's nice to start from a preset that's already kind of close. Now, I don't want to be too critical, but I think that the MPC One has the computational power and the interface to offer more substantial synthesis features. I hope Akai will consider expanding this realm of the OS. Really, the criticisms of the MPC One are minor, and overall it's a great device that is both powerful and affordable. If you're just getting into making beats and you want to invest into a serious standalone machine, I recommend checking out the MPC One. But even advanced users who are looking to get into the MPC workflow should consider the MPC One. If you already have an MPC Live, I'm not sure that the transition makes much sense. You're probably better off sticking with the Live. For MPC X users, well, if you want an MPC to keep next to the couch or to have with you on the tour bus, definitely check out the MPC One. For full disclosure, I paid for the MPC One with my hard-earned money and got it from Sweetwater. Sweetwater provides a free 2-year warranty for the device, and they have excellent customer service. I recommend checking them out. Neither Akai nor Sweetwater asked me to make this video. I do this for you, so please give a like and subscribe if you learned something in this video. Your support helps grow this channel. And drop a comment below if you're considering getting an MPC One. Alright, that's it for this video. You made it to the end. You're awesome, and thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Thanks.